February 27, 2021. After a hard-fought match, a sneak attack would cause Matt Hayter to fall to the RCW Champion Rocky Menero in an 8-man elimination tag team match at RCW 221 Big Top Beatdown. This moment would not go unnoticed, however, as Hayter's teammates would return to help out their fallen captain, which would lead us into this moment. Sold-out crowd of over 450 people, the sounds of Hayter, Hayter, Hayter resonated around the Peacock tent. What led us here to this moment? Who is Matt Hayter, and why has he become a hero to the RCW fans? Let's answer these questions on this edition of the RCW Rewind. Our story begins on February 1st, 2019, at RCW Reanimated. After the Dark King Zach Sabbath successfully defended the RCW Championship against world-class Chris Basso, a young, brash Matt Hayter would debut and proclaim himself as the official Ego, laying out a challenge for Zach Sabbath's title by superkicking his valet, Zelina. Hayter's title match would come at Strength 2019. In his debut match, Matt Hayter would hold his own against the champion, and would zero in on Sabbath's injured knee to gain an advantage. In the closing moments of the match, a flash superkick would seemingly seal the deal for Hayter and award him the RCW Championship. However, a foot on the rope would save Sabbath's title reign and lead to the champion hitting the Vile Driver to retain his title. Following this match, Hayter would linger in the RCW roster, directionless for several months before setting his sights on world-class Chris Basso. After antagonizing Basso online for several weeks and defeating his brother Grim at an RCW live event, Hayter would finally receive his match in July at Long Live the King. Although Hayter was an accomplished singles wrestler in his own right, he was unable to take Chris Basso down without resorting to cheating by hitting his opponent with a low blow and rolling him up to win the match. Post-match, however, it became apparent that the heat between the two men was not over, as a furious Chris Basso would rain blows down on Hayter before succumbing to a vicious superkick. This would lead into the pair's next confrontation on August 24, 2019 at RCW Key to the City, in a number 1 contenders match for the RCW Championship. Basso's post-match assault had seemingly lit a fire under Hayter, as this encounter would be a more even and fairly fought match. After close to 20 minutes of back-and-forth action, Chris Basso would successfully defeat Matt Hayter to become the number 1 contender. However, one more fact would become apparent following this match. Basso and Hayter had an undeniable chemistry within the squared circle. RCW's next live event would feature a main event pitting the RCW champion Rocky Menero and number 1 contender Chris Basso against each other in a tag team match, where each man would pick their opponent's partner. Whether it was destiny or spite, Rocky Menero elected that Chris Basso's partner be none other than Matt Hayter. On the night of the show, the thrown together tag team of Basso and Hayter would prove to be more cohesive than the champion was expecting, and in front of a raucous crowd at RCW HQ, the first seeds of a burgeoning tag team were planted when Basso and Hayter picked up the impressive victory. Following this tag team match, Hayter would proclaim himself to be Chris Basso's best friend and pleaded with his newfound partner that he be allowed to second him to the ring during his upcoming title match. This would take place on October 11, 2019 at ROCKTOBERFEST. Chris Basso and the RCW champion Rocky Menero would fight in a classic match. However, when Matt Hayter tried to interfere to assist the challenger, he would inadvertently cost his best friend the match by hitting him over the head with a steel chair. In post-match comments, Chris Basso would make it very clear that their alliance was over. Hayter, on the other hand, had other plans. In order to prove his loyalty and friendship, Hayter would place himself and Basso in another tag team match against the team of Dean Brady and Down Under at the Riot City Rumble on November 9th, 2019. During this match, the flourishes of their inescapable chemistry would be on display, and after a double team finisher, the team of Chris Basso and Matt Hayter would pick up their second ever win. Following the match, Hayter had seemingly earned Basso's trust, and much to World Class's dismay, would now refer to himself as Chris Basso's life partner. Hayter would go on to dub their union the World Class Egos, as the team entered a triple threat number 1 contenders match for the RCW Tag Team Championship at Battle for Supremacy on December 13, 2019, against the Kings of Ruin and the Pariah. In a high-octane, fast-paced match, the world-class Egos would walk away with the victory and a passionate embrace in the ring to the approval of the RCW fans. With the number 1 contendership to the RCW Tag Team titles under their belt, the world-class Egos turned their attention to the RCW Tag Team Champions, Gods and Monsters. Grim and Big Brody Marshall were indeed a formidable force and had spent the last several months proving their dominance over the RCW Tag Team division. On February 8, 2020, at ReAnimated 15, the two teams faced off in the main event for the RCW Tag Team Championship. 1 year after his debut, it had become apparent that the influence Chris Basso had over the young Matt Hayter. In this match, he fought with heart and fighting spirit, and at the end of the night, he was able to out-wrestle Big Brody Marshall and win the Tag Team Championship for him and his partner. After the match, Gods and Monsters raised the hands of the world-class Egos, and Matt Hayter had finally earned the respect of the Basso brothers. The new Tag Team Champions would have their first title defense against the team of Zack Sabbath and Mike Boomer, Kings of Ruin, on February 29, 2020, at a Glutton for Punishment. Hayter and Basso would put on another fast-paced and entertaining match that the RCW fans had come to expect from the world-class Egos. The pair would sweeten the deal by retaining their Tag Team Championships, and it seemed that they were on top of the world as they celebrated in the ring. Little did they realize that their biggest challenge lay ahead of them. At RCW 214, the world-class Egos would team with JETT Armstrong to defeat the family, RCW Champion Rocky Menero and the Pariah. The Pariah would go on to challenge the world-class Egos for the RCW Tag Team Championship at the next show, RCW 215, Rocky vs. JETT, on August 29, 2020. To add further insult to injury, Hayter and Basso would mock the Pariah during their entrance and attack Gabriel Eros with a packet of pasta. This would incite the Pariah and lead to an aggressive, hard-fought match that would see the world-class Egos ultimately come out victorious. The following month at RCW 216, The Price is Fight, the world-class Egos would offer the Pariah another championship match. By this stage, the team of Hayter and Basso were really hitting their stride, as they displayed a plethora of tag team offense. This time, however, the Pariah were prepared, as they utilized their stable members Rocky Menero and Tyler Daniels to steal the victory after binding Matt Hayter's hands and preventing him from assisting his partner Chris Basso. Following this match, the family would commit their most heinous act yet, as they assaulted and broke the ribs of Chris Basso. With Basso medically unable to compete, this seemingly spelled the end of the world-class Egos, and set Matt Hayter off on his own solo trajectory. 3 weeks later, at RCW 217 Red Dawn, Matt Hayter would come out to confront Rocky Menero and the family for their attack on his life partner Chris Basso, but was blindsided by an impromptu match against Tyler Daniels. Despite a valiant and heartfelt effort, Hayter would succumb to a series of spine-shattering powerbombs and receive a brass-knuckled punch to the gut, much like the one Chris Basso received on the last show. In an attempt to gain some revenge the following month, at RCW 218, A Nightmare on Coglin Street, Matt Hayter would disguise himself as a referee and cost Tyler Daniels a spot in the Key to the City match. Despite this, The family would have the last laugh, as RCW champion Rocky Menero would again blindside Matt Hayter from behind and deliver a devastating powerbomb onto the table from the top rope. Hayter was truly at an all-time low, with his career and health put in serious jeopardy. Several months later, it was time for RCW's annual Riot City Rumble event. Matt Hayter had recovered enough to compete, but the deck was most certainly stacked against him, as he entered the match in the number 1 position. In the dying moments of the match, Rocky Menero's family would enter in an attempt to eliminate Hayter and prevent him from walking away victorious. However, Matt Hayter had found himself an unlikely ally in Havoc, as the two fended off the attack to become the final participants in the match, and then this happened. Hayter had done the impossible, outlasting 19 other opponents to win the Riot City Rumble and become the number 1 contender to Rocky Menero's RCW Championship. At the next event, ReAnimated 16, Hayter would confront Menero and get another opportunity against Tyler Daniels. This time, however, Hayter was ready and demonstrated that he had learned and grown from his last encounter with the family, as he was able to overcome Tyler Daniels and walk away with the win. Having been through hell and back to earn his title shot against Menero, the two would come face to face during their epic 8-man tag team elimination match encounter at Big Top Beatdown. Hayter would show Menero exactly why he deserved the challenge, as he took the champion to his limits. Once again, however, he would find himself at a disadvantage, as Tyler Daniels would again hit a devastating powerbomb on him to assist Menero in stealing the victory. Despite gaining the win, Menero would not be the one to stand tall at the end of the night. Hayter's redemption would be complete, as he earned the respect of his peers, who assisted him in a post-match beatdown of the family. Hayter would then escort Menero back into the ring and deliver a super kick to lay out the champion and pose over his unconscious body, holding the RCW Championship high above his head. The scene had been set, and all that was left for Hayter was Rocky Menero on March 20th at Superclash 3. Win, lose, or draw, one thing is for certain. The next chapter of Matt Hayter's story is about to be written.